welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, I've got a puppy and she eats me, so that is this situation right here. I did not, this is a nervous thing with me, I touch my ear when I'm nervous and I don't know why. I didn't realise how basic I actually was until I sat down to film this video. I mean, when I picked out these 5 palettes, I just sat there and kind of just went, ooh, I'm that person. I'm that level of basic. Ha! So yeah, without further ado, let's just crack right on. I'm gonna do this in order of the palettes that I reach for the most. So I will start with the one I reach for less and then work my way to the one that I reach for the most. Okay, so the palette in my number 5 position, this is the Morphe 25D palette and it is called Oh Boy. And yeah, oh boy, let me tell ya, I reach for this palette all the damn time. So when I say this is the one I reach for the least, I mean the least out of my top 5, so I still reach for this like a hell of a lot. Now this palette, I'm not even going to sit here and lie, this is not the most amazing palette in the world. It's really not. It's extremely basic. There is literally, I'm going to just open this up, there's literally 25 different shades of brown in this palette. This is what it looks like inside. It's super warm tone. There's a pattern. Everything is warm tone that I'm about to show you guys. Like, I'm a warm tone girl through and through. But this palette, when I actually picked it up, I was staring at it for ages and I was like, shall I buy it? Shall I not? No, I'll leave it. And then I went back and got it, and it was one of those palettes when I come home and I was speaking to my mom and I was like, this palette's so not me. Like, this is so weird, it's not me, it's out my comfort zone. I bought it to buy it and oh my god, I can't remember life without it. Now, I'm someone who loves colour, I really do. I dabble with colour all of the time. However, if I am in a rush to get out the house, which I usually am, I literally go to my roots of what I know, which is always warm tone shadows. Now this, honestly, this is amazing to have to hand because there's literally every shade of warm brown that you could ever possibly need, and I didn't realise how handy it would come in. I'm a matte girl as well. I know I wear shimmers a lot. This is quite new to me, wearing shimmers. I've always been a matte eyeshadow girl. So this to me is perfect. I could travel with this and it's one of those things where I know I'm okay as long as I've got it. Don't get me wrong, the formula is not the most amazing formula in the world, but it's so handy to have and it's something I find myself reaching for all the time. Even when I'm using other eyeshadow palettes, if I hit a moment where I'm like, oh, I need a nice brown to deepen this a bit, or oh, I need a nice brown to smoke this out, I always turn around and go, right, it'll be in my Morphe 25D palette, it will be in that palette. So that is what I use it for. I can do whole looks with this, but I find when I need a brown because the palette's not giving me enough, this is where I turn to this palette all of the time. If I could choose one word to sum up this palette, honestly, the first word that comes to mind is reliable. It's a reliable palette. If I need help, I can rely that this is going to help me out. The next palette I found myself reaching for all of the time in my number 4 position is my Huda Beauty Topaz Obsessions palette, which is this one here. Again, I don't know why I'm saying again because it's going to be the same with all 5 of them. It's a very warm tone palette. My apologies for my cool tone guys and gals out there. I know you're probably like, oh, Ellie, stop with the warm tones, but that is just who I is. Now, I love the Huda Obsessions, but this one in particular is something I reach for all of the time. I literally love all of the shades in here and it's so quick and easy to come up with an eyeshadow look. With there only being 9 shades in this, it's limited, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because if you are on a quick dart or you're not really sure what you want to do with your makeup look, this is great to pick up because you've kind of not got much choice. But yeah, you can make some amazing, great beautiful looks with this palette. Again, it's warm tone and I love orange shades. I find that they really make my blue eyes pop. Would you say I've got blue eyes? I don't know if my eyes would be called grey or blue. Everyone says they're blue, but then I'm a bit like, I think they might be grey, and then everyone tells me grey is not an eye colour, and I'm like, Google says otherwise. I don't know, but I find oranges really make my eyes pop, so they're what I lean toward the most. I think all of my blue eye guys and gals out there will know that oranges really just amp up your eyes. So this is something I reach for all of the time. Now, I'm a big fan of Huda Beauty. I use their makeup all the time. It's a really great brand, and I'm a big fan of these Obsession palettes. I do love her bigger palettes as well, but the Obsession ones in particular, because I love that they're so small, that I've not got so many shades that I'm going to drive myself crazy thinking of a look to do, and they're really easy to travel with. If you're someone who tops your eyeshadow up, I never top my makeup up, like, ever. I don't even take makeup in my bag. The only thing I may take is a lipstick if I know I'm going to be eating. But I would never, like, think of taking powder or anything in a bag. But if you are someone who does travel with your makeup, these are so great for traveling, because you can literally just, in your handbag it goes. It's just so small. This is actually a little bit sentimental to me as well, because this was the first Obsession palette I ever purchased, and at the time I purchased it, I didn't really have any high-end makeup, to be honest. It was kind of like my first venture into high-end makeup, and my collection just literally expanded from there. I was always a drugstore girl through and through, because I never had the income for high-end things, but this was probably, honestly, I do believe this was the first high-end product that I ever purchased, and oh my god, it's that product for me that makes me just, I want to hug it, you know what I mean? It's really sentimental. So the palette that is coming in the number 3 spot, honestly, I've just sat here and stared at 2 palettes, because I use these both so much. So my number 3 and number 2 were, like, honestly almost tied. I've literally stared at them and I'm like, what do I reach for more? So I have chose the other one that I reach for more and this one less, but I love this nonetheless. This is the MAC Art Library in Flamboyant. It's this one here. Oh my god, do you know when I purchased this, I didn't really know what to expect. This is the only one of that collection I have. Also, can we take a minute for the packaging? I love how simple yet effective this is. It's really beautiful. Now, I'm not someone who owns a lot of MAC eyeshadows. I literally think I have one other palette by MAC, and it's just one of their, like, 9-pan ones. So when I picked this up, I really didn't know what to expect. This is what the inside of this palette looks like, and it comes with, like, a really decent sized mirror. But this is absolutely stunning. Of course it is a warm tone palette. Why would it be anything else? This white here is a shimmer, but it's got gold reflex and it's really beautiful. And I love that this has got the oranges, it's got purples, it's got some red pops in there, and then it has, like, these cool browns over here. I really enjoyed this palette, and I definitely do reach for it so often, like so often. The next palette I'm going to show you is extremely similar to this, and it's actually cheaper than this one, but I do reach for it more just because it's such a reliable and trustworthy palette. But this is something I've been dipping into a hell of a lot lately. Now, I got this around December time, and at that point I didn't dip into it all that much. And then it was probably around 2 months ago I tried it for the first time, and ever since it's been one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'll go to my art library palette, I'll go to that, oh, I know I'll get a lovely look out of it. So if I'm looking to run out the house, I feel like this is what I'm saying about all of them, but when I'm wanting to get out the house and I want something reliable and trustworthy that I know I'm going to get a beautiful look out of, this is something I definitely reach for. Now, I've never used MAC's eyeshadows before. I know a lot of people love these single pan eyeshadows. I've never used them, so I can't vouch for these and say they feel the same. I don't know if these are the same formula or what, but the formula of these is lovely. It blends so well. The shimmers are nice. They're not like super metallic. Let me swatch one. They're just your average shimmer. They're not like anything crazy. They're not like butter. Nothing like that. It's just your bog standard shimmer. But the matte shades are really beautiful. They've got amazing blendability. They have great pigment. Let me just swatch through. Sorry, there's a crack in this because my finger's actually cut. Because again, my dog ate me. But these are super pigmented mattes and they blend so beautifully. I find you can buff them out effortlessly and they look amazing, but you can also really build them up. And when you blend them into each other, sometimes with certain brands, you can find that it kind of all morphs into one shade and you lose a lot of the colour payoff. But I don't find I ever have problems like that with this palette. It's just a really beautiful all-rounder. And what I love is I don't just feel this is something I can wear of a day. I feel if I was going on a night out or somewhere where I wanted to look extra special, I could still pick this palette up and it could still give me a really nice nighttime look too, and I could smoke it out with these shades down here. So the palette in my number 2 position, like I said, it's really similar to the MAC one that I just showed you. This is by Zoeva and it's a Zoeva matte palette. That stain shouldn't be there, it's foundation. I think my mom's put that there, to be honest. This is the Zoeva matte palette. I had to think about what I was saying then. It's really basic packaging, it's just bog standard, but this is a palette that is so loved in my collection. You can see the shades like gone. I love this palette. You can definitely see the similarities, but what I do love, like I've told you guys, although I wear shimmers lately and it's something I'm venturing into, I am overall a matte eyeshadow type of girl. They are my favourite looks, and I know I don't do all too many of them on this channel. I definitely should more, but I have a standard makeup look that I go to. So my standard makeup look would be very similar to what I've got on now, but only it wouldn't involve eyeliner, and where my shimmer is, I would use this really light shade here on the lid. I just find it really makes my eyelid look big, so I will definitely film it for you guys. But this palette is one that I can go to and I really trust in knowing that I'm gonna get that eyeshadow look that I really enjoy. I like that they're all matte and there's no shimmers, because like I've said, that is my preference. When I look at an eyeshadow palette, I definitely look at the matte to shimmer ratio, because if it's mostly shimmers with very few matte, it's not going to be up my street. I'm not going to love it as much. I know some people really love their shimmers, and that's great, that's fine, but it's not my preference, and it is something that does bother me with palettes, and I definitely look into. So for me, this is an amazing palette. I love that I've got all the shades I'm going to use, being a warm tone girl. So I've got these beautiful neutral shades, I've got these nice browns, I've got my orange and my red pop, I've got my dusty shade, so this like dusty red and this dusty purple. I've then got a cool tone colour here. Not that I get much use out of this one. I also have this colour here on the end. Now this is not black. It almost comes off purple, but it's not. It's like this really deep grey shade, and oh my god, this is beautiful. So like, whereas I've got my liner today, and it's not liner, it's eyeshadow from the palette I'm going to show you next. I use eyeshadow 99.9% of the time to do my wing. I really like to smoke my wings out. Now this shade is unbelievable for smoking wings out and creating that gorgeous amped up smoky effect. So yeah, all around, this is one of my favourite palettes. This has been in my collection for a long time, and a lot of people don't talk about Zoeva anymore. Everyone was all on the bandwagon for the brushes, but no one really talks about their palettes. And honestly, I've got a massive collection of Zoeva palettes because I really love them. They're so blendable, they're so smooth in formula, they're so pigmented. Again, they don't lose their colour when you start blending them out. They blend into one another beautifully. I can't recommend this brand enough, and I think it's a brand that definitely needs to be talked about more, and I will definitely use more of on my channel. But yeah, this is up there. I would say this one would be my top palette. I only recently purchased the palette in my number 1 spot. It's a newer purchase for me, and if I hadn't picked it up, this would be in my number 1 position, because I use this all of the time, and I have done for over a year now. So the palette that has made its way to my number 1 position, I don't think this will surprise a lot of people. I think this will be in a lot of people's top 5 palette. It is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. Now this is beautiful, it really is, and it definitely is what it claims to be, a soft glam palette. I have this palette on my eyes today, and I do have a tutorial up on how I achieve this look, so I will leave the link in the down bar below if you want to check it out. Now what I love about this palette is, yeah, it has got shimmers, and I know that I've been open and honest in saying my preference is matte, but I quite like there's a few pops of shimmers in here, because the thing is, These are all really wearable, daytime appropriate shimmers. These aren't like crazy in your face colour shimmers. So this is something I've been gravitating towards a lot on a daily basis. Now in today's makeup look, I literally used like all of these colours here and here. We literally just delved into all of them and seen where we come on. Now what I like about this palette, it's called Soft Glam, and I feel it definitely gives you a soft glam look. Like this eye look I've got on today, I feel is really soft glam. I'm looking at it in the mirror and I absolutely love it. That black is beautiful. I used it to do my wing. There is no liquid liner or nothing. That is just pure black eyeshadow from this palette. It is definitely the most pigmented black eyeshadow I believe I have ever used from any palette ever. Like truly, it's beautiful. These shades are so blendable, they're so buttery, the shimmers are lovely, and what I like is we have just these bog standard shimmers, but we've also got like these super cute metallic shimmers. And what I like, again, I feel this palette, you can go from day to night with this. So you've got these beautiful light brown shades and these gorgeous golds that are so daytime appropriate, but then we've got these deeper browns and this burgundy shade and these more richer shimmers that are definitely nighttime appropriate too. Whilst I will wear them over day, I don't care. This is me. Like, I'm always pushing barriers with my makeup. I'm not bothered what people think. If they think I'm over the top, I'm just like, oh hon, that's a you problem, not a me thing. But these are so wearable for a night time. Now don't get me wrong, if I'm going out, you can guarantee I'll have glitter on my eyelids. I will have some sort of crazy over the top colour, but I am trying to tone it down a little bit now I'm getting older. But yeah, this is something that I've been playing with a lot. I've been reaching for it more and more and more. I find on a daily basis this is the palette I'm gravitating towards the most at the moment. I'm still to use this shade, would you believe? It's called Mulberry, and this is probably the most me shade in this whole palette as well. But I'm still to use it, and I'm very excited playing with this palette. So like I said, I will leave the link in the down bar to this eyeshadow I created, but this is definitely my most used. The Anastasia Beverly Hills formula is beautiful. I'm really new to using their shadows. I purchased this one, the Modern Renaissance and Norvina. Yeah, they're what I got. I mean, they're beautiful. I definitely need to try out more of their palettes. Those big ones that have came out look absolutely beautiful. But this right now is my favourite. It's honestly up there with one of my favourite formulas. I truly thought Huda Beauty was my favourite formula of all time ever, and nothing could top it. But since I've purchased these, honestly, my mind's been changed. This is the best formula of eyeshadow I've used in a very, very long time, and I definitely look forward to playing with this palette some more. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching. I do really hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you love the palettes that I love, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know if you've used them palettes and what your thoughts are on them, and if you love them as much as I do, that would be amazing, and we can talk palettes together down there. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and to press that notification bell. That'll bring you right back to me every time I post another video. I do hope that you're all keeping sane and safe. And I will see you guys in the next one.